He was a world karate champion, but a single punch to a royal guard changed his life forever. What happened next shocked millions. The July sun hung bright over London, casting golden rays across the majestic facade of Buckingham Palace. Tourists buzzed like bees, snapping selfies, posing in front of the stoic royal guards, and sipping on iced drinks. Among the crowd that day stood a man who didn't blend in, Troy Carter, the reigning world champion in freestyle karate. Troy had just returned from an international tournament in Tokyo where he dominated his opponents with acrobatic flair and explosive power. With a tall, muscular build and a swagger in his step, he was used to attention. Cameras followed him. Fans screamed for selfies and interviewers scrambled for quotes. But that day, Troy wanted something else, something different. He wasn't content with medals anymore. He wanted viral fame. "Hey, record this," Troy said to his friend and social media manager, Dean. Dean, always ready, tapped his phone screen and nodded. Troy turned toward one of the royal guards standing tall in his iconic red uniform and bear-skin hat. The guard was a black man in his mid-30s, expressionless, unflinching. His name was Sergeant Elijah Ree, a 10-year veteran of the Queen's Guard. Troy grinned, eyes gleaming with mischief. "Let's see how much control this guy really has." He walked up close to Elijah, performing a few shadow boxing moves and exaggerated stretches. Onlookers began to notice, whispering and pulling out phones. Dean was already live on Instagram. Troy clapped his hands. "Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the most disciplined statue in London to flinch." He feigned a punch, stopping inches from Elijah's face. The guard didn't blink. Snickers from the crowd. Then Troy stepped it up. Without warning, he threw a swift, calculated punch, not to the face, but to the chest. A sharp thud echoed. Gasps. Still, the royal guard didn't move. Not a single twitch. His weapon remained tucked against his shoulder, his jaw set like marble, but his eyes. For a moment, they flicked. Troy turned to the crowd with arms raised. He didn't move. "The guy's a machine." Laughter followed, mixed with murmurs of disapproval. Some tourists clapped, others scowled. Then Elijah spoke. "Step away, sir." His voice was calm. Firm. Final. Troy smirked. "Come on, man. It's just for laughs. Lighten up." Elijah didn't respond, but from the palace gates, 2 more guards began walking briskly over, led by a woman in uniform. Dean muttered. Bro, we got company." Captain Miriam Walker approached with military precision, eyes scanning the situation. "Elijah, report," she said. "Civilian struck me in the chest, minimal force." Non-provoked, Elijah replied. Miriam turned to Troy. "You just assaulted a royal guard. That's a criminal offense." Troy laughed incredulously. "Are you serious?" It was a tap, a joke. Dean stepped in. "It's on video." He didn't even flinch. "Come on, it's harmless." But the tension was rising. Several officers had joined them now. The crowd, once amused, began to murmur with unease. "You need to come with us," Miriam ordered. Troy's expression hardened. "No way. This is nuts. I'm a world champion. You should be thanking me for giving the crowd a show." That's when Elijah stepped forward. "For 10 years, I've stood here," he said, voice low but cutting through heat, rain, and snow. "I've had children scream in my ear. Drunks throw beer at me. One guy even tried to set my bare skin on fire." He took one step closer to Troy. "But never, never have I been punched until today." Silence. Troy rolled his eyes. "All right, Grandpa, calm down. That was the wrong thing to say." Elijah slowly removed his rifle, handed it to Miriam, and motioned to a nearby courtyard. "Step in the square," he said. "What?" Troy blinked. "You want a show? Let's give them one. Guard versus champion." The crowd roared. Dean's camera zoomed in. Troy grinned again. "You're on." The courtyard was cleared within minutes. Even a few palace staff emerged to see what the buzz was about. Troy bounced on his feet, loose, confident. Elijah stood with arms at his side. Calm, focused. Dean began live streaming. Thousands were already watching. Comments flew by. "This guard's going to get wrecked. He should be fired. Nah, he's got something about him." Miriam raised her hand. "No weapons. No fatal strikes. Show discipline." She dropped her hand. Troy lunged first. Fast, agile, spinning into a roundhouse kick. Elijah sidestepped. Troy swung again. This time, a flurry of jabs aimed at Elijah's torso. The guard parried with ease, deflecting each strike with uncanny precision. His footwork was immaculate, grounded, strategic. Troy grunted. "You're trained." Elijah finally spoke. "Royal Marines, black belt, and a father of 3. I don't have time for theatrics." He struck one movement. A simple sweep. Troy fell flat. The crowd erupted, but Elijah didn't follow up. He extended a hand. Troy stared at him. You're good," Troy muttered. Elijah pulled him up. "You're fast, but discipline isn't about speed. It's about respect." Troy looked around. He saw the kids, the tourists, the elderly. Man clapping slowly. His ego, still bruised, began to shift. He turned to Dean. "Turn it off." News of the incident spread like wildfire. Karate champion humbled by royal guard trended on social media. Major outlets picked it up. But the angle surprised everyone. Troy didn't lash out. He didn't sue. He didn't storm off. Instead, the next day, he returned to Buckingham, not to fight, but to apologize. In a quiet ceremony filmed not by Dean, but by the palace's official media team, Troy presented Elijah with a custom gold-plated karate belt engraved with the words, "To the guardian who taught me respect." He spoke to a growing crowd. "I came here thinking strength was about dominance. But real strength is standing still when the world tries to provoke you. Elijah showed more power standing silent than I ever did breaking boards." Elijah, ever humble, gave a small nod. Later that week, the palace invited Troy to conduct a youth martial arts session in their community outreach program. He accepted. Months passed. The video had over 90 million views. Elijah received an award for exemplary conduct. Troy became a global ambassador for discipline-based martial arts. The incident was even used as a case study in UK military training. But the most heartwarming moment came one afternoon when Troy received a letter from a young boy. "Dear Mr. Carter, I used to think being strong meant being loud and showing off. But after seeing your story, I want to be strong like Elijah, calm and respectful. Thank you." Troy kept that letter in his gym locker. And every time he prepared for a match, he looked at it, remembering that a single punch to a guard's chest taught him the most powerful lesson of his life. Not in combat, but in character. Did this story surprise you? Speech balloon. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read everyone thumbs up. Like if you believe true strength lies in respect. Bell. Subscribe for more real emotional stories that stay with you long after the video ends.